I often wondered why so many ordinary or even foolish people seem to win in life, rising to the top so easily. And then another question struck me. What's going on with the smart and the talented? Why do they, with all their gifts, so often end up on the sidelines? What keeps them from claiming the place they should while all logic be theirs? Let me say right now, this isn't some dry theory. What I'm sharing comes from what I've seen over and over again in real life. And let's be honest, yes, there are brilliant, gifted people who do make it big, but they're rare. Far more often, I've seen the opposite. People with huge potential, sharp minds, real depth, who never manage to achieve much at all. So the question is, why? What holds them back? That's what I want to talk about. And if you see yourself as smart and talented but keep watching others, less capable, less thoughtful, overtake you, get recognition, step into roles you know you could fill, then listen closely. This video is for you. Here's the paradox. Intelligence, talent, emotional depth, they don't guarantee success. The world rewards different qualities. Persistence, pushness, the ability to sell yourself. In short, it promotes the bold, not the profound. And that brings us to the first reason why intelligent, sensitive people often struggle. It might surprise you. They rich emotional lives. The ability to feel deeply, to react strongly to conflict, betrayal, injustice. Imagine this. Where someone else shrugs and moves on, they replay the moments in their head for weeks. It drains them. It eats up energy that could have gone into work, into projects, into moving forward. I've seen it many times. A fight with a loved one, or just the inability to build stable relationships, completely knocks a person off balance. Be honest. Have you ever been so consumed by emotions that you had no strength left for anything else? Exactly. That emptiness, that exhaustion is what keeps you from moving on. When their personal lives are going well, that can also become a barrier to success. To break through, especially without being born into money, takes enormous energy and time, which means there are very little left for relationships, hobbies, or rest. And for many intelligent, sensitive people, that's exactly what matters most. They need love, the freedom to do what they enjoy, their own space. And they're not willing to sacrifice all of that just for a career. That's why they often don't have burning ambition. If they have a partner, family, friends, why prove anything? Life already feels rich. For them, happiness isn't measured in money or status, but in emotional bonds, closeness, and freedom. Others are wired differently. They're driven by the hunger for recognition. They need to confirm their worth through success and material achievements. They don't feel valuable simply for existing. They need proof. That's why their ambition runs stronger and they push harder, even if the price is shallow relationships and inner emptiness. So it turns out some burn out under the weight of emotions, while others push forward at any cost. The second reason intelligent people struggle is their caution and constant analysis. Think about it. Someone with less critical thinking just charges ahead. They don't spend weeks worrying about risks or imagine failure. They act. While the thoughtful one is still weighing options, searching for the perfect path, doubting. The simpler one has already taken a step and gotten results. That's the difference. Sound familiar? You sit there thinking, what if it doesn't work out? What if I make a mistake? While someone else just goes ahead and does it. Sure, they stumble sometimes, but they gain experience, and next time they know how to do it better. And you, with all your intelligence and talent, do you have that experience? Only thoughts, only doubts, only endless analysis without action. The third reason is modesty, the inability to present yourself. And here's the harsh truth. Smart, deep, capable people are often terrible at marketing themselves. I've seen it over and over again. They believe if I'm truly good, people will notice on their own. But the world doesn't work that way. Social success is self-marketing. It's the ability to announce yourself loudly. And the winners in this game are the ones who aren't afraid to shout about their achievements, even if there's nothing real behind them. And here's the paradox. You may have talent, ideas, ability, but if you sit quietly in the corner, no one outside your close circle will ever know. No one. Which means no recognition, no growth. Be honest. Have you ever felt it? You know you have something to show, but inside there's that block. I don't want to push myself on people. Let them notice on their own. That's the trap. That's what holds you back. Or maybe it's something else. The constant doubts about yourself. You think, I'm not good enough. I don't measure up. And while you fight that thought, people far less gifted are already stepping into your place. That's the cruel irony. Talented people are often painful and practical. Take Nikola Tesla. Some call him the greatest genius in human history. His inventions were brilliant, but he couldn't protect his patents or monetize his work. The result? He was always in financial trouble. A weak businessman with no commercial instinct. Competitors crushed him. The paradox, one of the greatest minds, yet always broke. Or look at Paul Gauguin, a brilliant artist who died nearly penniless. And what happened after his death? His paintings almost immediately began selling for staggering sums. The demand was there, the potential to earn was there, but he never managed to use it. Why? For the same reason. He lacked commercial instinct. For him, art and freedom mattered more than business. And beyond that, Gauguin was difficult, proud, quarrelsome, impossible to get along with. He never built connections with people who could have helped him sell his work. He didn't know how to deal with the right people. And so, while he lived, he earned almost nothing. Today, his paintings hang in the world's greatest museums and are worth millions. And now we come to the fourth reason, the unwillingness to build shallow connections or spend time with people you don't actually like. But let's be honest, success is often built on exactly that. Some people calculate everything. This person is useful, I'll stick close. Or, that one brings me nothing, why waste my time? In the end, people turn into stepping stones on the climb to success. You've probably noticed this yourself, haven't you? Here's the problem. The smart and the talented usually crave depth. They struggle with small talk, with fakeness, with pretense. In situations where they're expected to nod, smile, flatter, they feel disgust inside. Have you ever had to fake interest while everything in you protested? Exactly. That's the obstacle, because the world rewards not honesty or depth, but flexibility and the willingness to play the game. And this leads us to careers in corporations. Picture a big company as a giant machine. What matters there isn't your brilliance or your individuality, it's how well you fit into the system. Sound familiar? If you start standing out, arguing with the boss, pushing for change, you quickly become difficult. And the system spits you out. That's why in these structures, it's not the geniuses who win, but the diplomats. Company value people who get along with the boss, with colleagues, with clients. People who keep the waters calm. Remove someone like that and the machine falters. But remove a bright, rebellious person. Nothing happens. The company keeps running. See the difference? So here's the question. Where does a smart, talented person go if they refuse to bend? Most often into startups, into science, into art. These are the places where there's still room for individual breakthroughs, for ideas that challenge the norm. But even there, things aren't as simple as they seem. And here's why. The fifth reason is that success often depends on how well a person can speak the language of the majority. This matters most in fields with a broad audience. Sounds simple, but it changes everything. And here's the catch. Someone with simpler thinking lives by the same interests, desires, and problems as their potential consumer. They instinctively know what will land and what won't. They can feel the mass demand because they themselves are part of that mass. And that gives them a huge advantage. A person with high intelligence stands apart from the average. They can create something that's admired by their own fellow intellectuals, refined readers, sophisticated audiences. But the mass public, it expects something completely different. What people crave is simplicity, clarity, quick emotions, something instantly clear without extra effort. Be honest. Do you always choose the difficult path? Or do you, like me, sometimes just want to relax and enjoy without endless explanations? Exactly. That's why in film, music, literature, and every other art, it's usually the simple plots and clichés that take off. They're easy to absorb, they work fast, they hit directly, but works with depth, they demand effort, attention, emotional investment. And that's a path for the few. The majority always chooses ease, which is why mass success doesn't go to the smartest, but to those who know how to make themselves understood. That's the hard truth of show business and really of any field with an audience. The same rule applies in business. If you truly understand the simple needs of ordinary people, success comes so much easier because most don't want brilliant but confusing inventions. They want clear answers to everyday problems. And the person who feels that instinctively gains a massive advantage. And finally, the sixth reason. High intelligence almost always comes with curiosity. You've probably noticed talented people are often talented in many areas. The smart rarely stay locked in a single niche. Their mind is always chasing new knowledge, new challenges, new stimulation. Everything fascinates them, which is why they almost never devote themselves fully to just one thing. Instead, their energy scatters. A little here, a little there, and then something else again. On the other hand, a less gifted person usually pours everything into one single field and squeezes the most out of their limited abilities. And that laser focus often brings practical results: career growth, money, success. That's the twist. Fewer abilities, yet higher chances of achieving something. It also been noticed that the higher someone's intelligence and creativity, the less likely they are to finish what they start. They might get pulled too quickly towards something new. You begin one thing, then suddenly light up with another idea, and the old one just hangs there. This isn't just theory. History is full of examples. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the greatest geniuses of all time, left behind not only masterpieces but also a mountain of unfinished works and projects. That's the price of curiosity. Ideas that last for centuries, but sometimes fewer results than someone who simply kept pushing until the end. If we gather everything we've talked about, the conclusion is simple, though not pleasant. Intelligence and talent are gifts, but by themselves, they don't guarantee success. If you see yourself as smart and talented, here's the main advice. Learn to finish what you start and stop hoping the world will notice your value on its own. The world usually notices those who are louder and simpler and more persistent. Yes, it might bore you to repeat the same thing again and again. It might feel humiliating to promote yourself or to build connection for personal gain. But the truth is, without these things, your talent risks staying in the shadows. If you want not only to create but also to be recognized, you need discipline, the ability to focus, and at least the basics of self-promotion. And here's something else. Don't abandon depth. Don't betray yourself for the sake of mass appeal. Just learn to translate your ideas into a language others can understand. Make the complex clear. That's when your intelligence and your talent stop being a burden and become real power. In other words, your chance lies in balance. Balance between depth and simplicity, between ideas and execution, between talent and the ability to present it. The balance is what separates the rare few smart people who actually become successful. Thank you for watching.